Hi there, Maria here from KUHN RIKON. So I just want to give you a little overview of why to choose KUHN RIKON for your pressure cooker and the variety between the ranges as you're looking at them to help you choose which one is the perfect one for you. Now, KUHN RIKON have been making pressure cookers for 100 years. They are the safest, quietest experience that you will have when pressure cooking. And for that reason alone, it elevates your experience when pressure cooking. Pressure cooking is all about quick and tastier food because it magnifies the flavors. So that range, as you can see, I've got kind of a big spread laid out here. We've got really large capacities. This is a 12 litre. All of our cookers are made out of 1810 stainless steel, and they are all made in Switzerland from top to bottom, so they will last decades. So this is a really great example of a large capacity that could help you for entertaining, or if you're really into batch cooking those large quantities. Then we move down and we've got, this is a 7 litre. It's a slightly smaller diameter. It's a different range called the Neo. And this is a valve housing, which you can see is slightly different. It's got some information on it and it's in a durable black plastic there. Then we've got a slightly different size again. Now that was a long handle. Now we have a short handle. That's really up to you in terms of what do you prefer carrying. A lot of people find load bearing easier when they have a long handle. A lot of people find it easier to line up and lock the lid very quickly, but that's a personal preference. Short handles take up a little less space and are easier to store in my opinion. But that's personal preference when it comes to choosing between those two. And then we move over again and we've got a long handle example, and you can choose diameters. You'll see on our website, for example, you can choose a 6 litre, but you could choose whether it's 22 centimetre diameter or a 24 centimetre diameter. Now that is really down to the stove that you're using. These are all induction ready. These are all ready, obviously for your gas, electric, whatever stove you're using. You could even use this on a camping gas stove. Brilliant. Imagine making a delicious chili con carne when you're camping. But I digress. So you can really get flexible with the quantities and the sizes. I'll go into the ranges individually in more detail, but to show you the kind of capacity differences, if I travel further around here, you can see that our Classic has a very simple valve housing. This is a callback to the very first designs that we did, back in the 1930s, 40s, 50s. And then we've got a little 3.5 litre over here. Now that is such a lovely little option for 2 people. It's a really great compact size. That is the one, the 3.5 litre, if you're like having it in your second home or on a boat or camping. It's a great little item. And then finally, we've got another shape altogether, which is our frying pan style. And this is really handy, and I'll show you the inside of it when we get into the ranges, but it's got a waffle texture inside, which seals the meat beautifully. So if you're into like searing things first, pan frying things first, a lot of meats go great in pressure cooking anyway, but the frying pan option is a really good one. It's only 2.5 litre capacity. So it's also another great alternative for one person, or if you sometimes cook for 2. So huge range. There's a lot to get into. But basically, quality-wise, and in terms of your experience, you won't get better than a KUHN RIKON pressure cooker. So the Inox range is one of our most popular ranges. Reason being, it has the largest choice of sizes and shapes. So you've got short-handled, you've got long-handled, and you've got frying pan. Short-handled, for me personally, is easier to store in your kitchen. And when you are storing them, you always store it with the lid upside down, by the way. And preferably you store it with the gasket in the body of the cooker. That just keeps the spare parts lasting as long as possible. Short-handled, that's the only difference really. The long-handled, some people prefer. They find it easier to carry with the load bearing, and they find it quite nice to lock and unlock. That's a personal preference. For your reference, the short-handled that you see here is 6 litres. The long-handled is 5 litres. Now, just so that we weren't doubling up too much, all of the even numbers are short-handles. 6 litres, 8 litres, 4 litres. The uneven numbers are long handles, 5 litres, 7 litres. A litre here or there isn't going to make you a huge difference. I'd say go more rather than less. But if you prefer a long-handled, choose the long-handled and choose whatever literage is going to suit you better. I wouldn't sacrifice the handle situation for the literage, because your comfort is going to be the priority, and an extra litre will only help you in the long run. Okay, so Inox, short-handled, long-handled. The style of that is really up to you and your storage and how you like to carry the weight. You're going to store them with the lid upside down, and the frying pan is a great option for 1 or 2 people. Let me show you what this looks like on the inside. So as you open the lid, you've got your gasket, that can come out. And then you've got a trivet. So everything except the frying pan pressure cooker that we offer, you will get this trivet free of charge. It comes in there, and it's really good for steaming potatoes, maybe broiling some beef, like if you're doing a cider ham joint, for example. Cider goes in the bottom, ham goes on the top. So, short-handled or long-handled, really that's down to you, your choice and your storage options. The frying pan is the one to go for if there's only one of you. If you like to cook meats and you're always going to braise them first, seal them. The reason we say that is if you look inside, there is a waffle texture on the base. Now, the waffle texture actually improves the seal of your meat. It will make it crispier, it will glaze it quicker, and is a really great option for that flavor. This is a 2.5 litre capacity, so it's relatively small. We say 1 litre per person. So this is a 2-person maximum, but it's a really great option to have. And that is all included in the Inox range. The hotel range is noticeably large. The only difference with the hotel range is the capacity. It is 28 centimeters in diameter. So the diameter refers to the across measurement and also really what size hob you're going to be using. Obviously, if you know that you are serving 10 people on the regular, this is going to be the one for you. We do it in a 10 litre as well and an 8 litre, but really it's the diameter, it's this width that differentiates the hotel range. It looks exactly the same as the Inox, stainless steel valve housing, stainless steel everything, same gasket, but bigger. You get your trivet in there. It is really functionally exactly the same, but it's a wide diameter, 28 centimeters. So bear that in mind with your stovetop. If you only have a small stovetop, like the gas flame or the induction hob isn't so large, it's going to take longer to heat this one up. It's not impossible, but that is the main difference. Large capacities, you want to go with the hotel. The classic. So the classic duromatic is the most similar to the design that we've had for decades. It has a relatively simple valve housing, no writing on it, just basic, and functionally it is exactly the same as the rest. Really quiet, safe, easy to use. It only comes in the long handle. Again, it's a callback to the original designs that we've had for a very long time now, tried and tested. Inside, again, you will get same quality gasket, same trivet, so you can do your steaming of your potatoes, you can do your boiling, maybe something like a beef joint or something in there. And this only comes in 2 sizes, 5 litre, which is this one here, or 3.5 litre, which is a little smaller. I recommend a 3.5 litre for 2 to 3 people. 1 litre per person, you basically, a 4 litre would be ideal for 4 people. But I like to give a little wiggle room and I like to batch cook. So I always add a bit more. You're better going for a larger size than a smaller size. And that is the classic. And the Neo. So the Neo range is a great range. It has the plastic valve housing with some extra information on it. I really recommend this range for the beginner. The beginner pressure cook, maybe you're not too sure, then there's an English section on the top which gives you a guideline of how long different ingredients take to cook. That, alongside our app, which you can download, the KUHN RIKON app, will give you loads of information to begin pressure cooking. For your reference, this is a short-handled one. This is 3.5 litre, perfect for 2 to 3 people. It's great because it's easy to store. It's small, it's compact. If there's only 2 of you, I definitely recommend this. Still comes with the trivet. Then that's your 3.5 litre. Neo, But then we also offer the 7 litre. Now, again, this would be ideal for a family of 6, or if there's 4 of you, but you entertain for 6 quite often, then again, you're better going larger. This is a long-handled option. You can choose short-handled, long-handled. Again, we've spoken about that. It's your personal preference and your storage options. We still recommend storing them with the lid upside down, like so. And we still recommend storing them with the gasket inside, like so. It's going to mean your spare parts last as long as possible. So this is quite a large capacity. It's 7 litres. But it might look quite tall. And the reason that it is so tall is because we've kept the diameter relatively narrow, 24 centimetre. That is for your domestic stovetop, your gas ring, your induction plate element. They're not going to be necessarily massive. So we thought, how are we going to get the depth, the quantity, 7 litres, but with still 24 centimetres. Still does a great job, still cooks all your recipes beautifully. The Neo range, great for beginners, great for compact space. This little one is ideal, and enjoy. So, questions to ask yourself when you're investing in a pressure cooker. Number 1, which shape do you like? Do you like the long-handled or do you prefer short-handled? Question number 2, how many people are you cooking for? 1 litre per person is a great guideline, but you can add a little extra room for yourself. For example, you cannot overfill pressure cookers, but you can underfill them. So extra space is always recommended. Thirdly, look at the styles. Would you like a black valve housing or a stainless steel valve housing? Once you've answered questions 1 and 2, you have probably found the right pressure cooker for you.